Welcome back for day 9 of 10 solos in 10 days. Today we've got a long solo from the band Ne Obliviscaris off their latest album. This is from the song Misericorde II. There's actually more words in the title of the song too, but I'm not going to say it here. I'll just put it on the screen. But this is a great solo, a lot of really interesting techniques. So let's jump into it. This song is in standard tuning and you can do it all on a 6th string. The chord progression for this solo goes as follows. We have F sharp minor, C sharp over E sharp, C sharp minor over E, that's how I'm hearing it anyway, and then back up to the C sharp over E sharp. So you have this chromatic moving line in the bass. But we're all right in C sharp minor. There's a lot of Phrygian dominant happening here, or harmonic minor, depending on how you want to look at it. So there's a combination of F sharp natural minor and F sharp harmonic minor, but harmonic minor is the more common sound here. So it gives it that little bit of exotic flair, but that really is coming from the way that it's being played. So the first part looks like this. There's a lot of these little bends which sound similar to the koto technique that I learned from watching Eric Johnson, which is a Japanese technique. Basically, you play a note, bend, pull off, and then bend again. These little tiny bends, they're a quarter step to a half step really fast. My song Cosmic Void has a bunch of these at the beginning. Very interesting sound, and it sounds really great in this particular solo. I particularly like this one, where it's chromatic, and I'm only striking that note once, so sliding between all these notes. You could strike each one separately too. We get this bend up here. That's over that C sharp minor over E. Back to the C sharp over E sharp here, and then this little run, and there we actually get a D sharp. Interesting note, kind of outside of the key, but it's played really quickly, so it sounds fine. Then this, kind of like a bluesy double stop in the second half. And then that leads us to the big second half of the solo. This second half of the clean section is really interesting. So you have the double stop, higher notes, this is all pentatonic, a step and a half bend, and then you have a sweep. This is an F sharp minor. I have it notated as quintuplets, but it's basically just put this sweep into this amount of time. And it's not like a super clean, like really accurate sweep. It's a little bit more for the effect of it. This whole sequence here is incredibly interesting. You have those slides, the bends, the string skipping, very unusual note choices, which I really enjoy. Some arpeggios there. There's the B minor. So we have this run into the second half of the solo. Once again, more string skipping. And we're combining that idea of harmonic and natural minor. So you have the leading tone as well as the flat 7. And this octave rings together and then it slides down chromatically. At the end of this run is where the distortion kicks in fully. Right there on that chord. I kind of had it automated in my cover to slowly increase the distortion as that run happens, but you could just kick on a pedal during that part too. So now let's go into the big second half of the solo. The second half of the solo starts like this with these octaves. and then into this big legato run, and there's a couple of these legato runs in this part of the solo. It looks like this. A lot of 3-note per string scale stuff. There is some chromaticism here, which is nice. That, and then into the beginning of the next measure. Now, this was hard to transcribe, and I had to slow it down a lot to figure out exactly what's going on, but this is what I'm hearing. So you get an A sharp, which is weird in this key. I think maybe it was intended to be an A. I think it might have been intended to be like... maybe not, but what I'm hearing is... right? So you have this pattern on the first string, and then you have a pattern of 7 on the B string, classic shred shape, and then again, and then straight down the scale. There. So if I'm playing a run like this, I'm going to work on each part separately and then string it together. So I'll work on the first string, then the next string, and see if I can string them all back to back. The timing on this is also pretty loose. It's basically like cram all these notes into this measure. And then it's right into this next diminished run. Which is very cool. Mostly 16th notes. 1, E, and a 2, E, and a 3, E, and a 1, 2, 2. The triplets at the end there, triplet. And this is happening over that 5 chord. So using a diminished 7th chord over the 5 chord in a minor key. Classic metal stuff, that's sort of the Yingwei technique. I do like this particular shape. Because he's not just playing straight up and down the diminished. He's skipping notes here and there. It's kind of hard to string that fast legato run into this arpeggio, so you might want to spend some time on that. The next section has these big pinch harmonics. And I'm finding the note that is an octave above the 19th fret, I believe. You get that very clear note happening. And then you use the bar. Then bend at the 17th or 19th fret and do another harmonic in the same spot. So you can leave your hand in that position to get these harmonics. It's a little hit or miss here. Really like that run. Very expressive, very interesting. And then we're into this long string of very interesting techniques back to back. Probably the hardest part of the solo to play, or one of them. So we start with this tapped octave idea. So I play 5th fret on the low string and tap 12 frets above it for a harmonic. These tapped harmonics. Do the same thing on the 6th fret of the D string. That's the technique we're using here. So the other notes look like this. And then you slide into the next part of the solo. This is very difficult to do and a little hit and miss, but I think even in my final cover that part wasn't played maybe as cleanly as I want. I don't do these kind of tapped harmonic things very often, but it's a very nice sound. Close enough. Then from here, we get this double picked measure. Get some palm muting on the bottom strings. Then it's right into a scale run. I'm actually economy picking this. It's 3 notes per string, so down, up, down, down, up, down. It seemed to work best for me. You could alternate pick it as well. And This is weird because it's not coming from F sharp minor again. It's a sort of a combo of scales. You have a D sharp in there on the bottom. Then that's from F sharp minor, and then you have this flat 7 and the major 7 back to back. This goes to show you that if you're playing a little bit faster, sometimes you can choose some unusual notes. But it sounds really nice in context, even if the theory part of it is a little bit weird. From here we get this pedal tone lick. We're pedaling off this high D. I'm doing this with hybrid picking. I think he's probably picking it. Either way, it works just fine. He's also shifting down here to do all of these notes on the B string. For me, it was easier to do those last couple notes on the G string. Just cleaner for the way I'm playing it. Then we get the second big legato run of the solo. Once again, you have that A sharp in there, which is very interesting. This is sort of a combination of harmonic minor and natural minor again. So you have raised 7th there, natural 7th there, or flat 7 there. And once again, when I slowed this down, it was a little hard to pick out some of the notes. It's very much a feel sort of a thing as you do this. The timing's a little weird too. It's, once again, this kind of cram a bunch of notes into one measure. But it sounds really nice. And we get more of these interesting sliding ideas. It's a fun little line. More chromaticism. So this tricky section all back to back. I'll do it slowly. And then from here, we get the most difficult lick in the entire solo, this big octave tapping idea. What we're doing here is playing 17 on the A string with our tap, pull off to 12, 11, 9, and then back up. That's our shape. The actual pattern of the solo looks like this. This is all 16th note triplets up to this point, and it's pretty accurate rhythmically. Up to there. And then from here, pull off, tap, slide, up, back down. It's hard to do slowly. There you go. And we slide down to this shape. This is the same idea as earlier. We're going to take this shape down an octave. And then back up. So all together. And that last part gets super fast, and I never actually got it that clean in my final take because I was doing this all in one take. I actually watched a live video, and even Benjamin didn't play this part super clean, so I'm going to give myself a pass there. It's very tricky to get that sort of ascending part. It's a lot of notes here, a lot of jumping around, a lot of hammer-ons from nowhere. I think if I was going to try to do this more cleanly, I'd probably put a hairband on there, which I probably should have done. But it's a really interesting idea. You get these big licks that kind of resemble what you might get from a big sweeping idea, but we're doing it with tapping, all these big octaves. And there's a lot you can do with this particular technique as far as taking a shape and moving it up and down an octave. You get these really big, cool sounding licks. And then finally, we get more of a melodic idea to end the solo. I'll be back tomorrow for the last day of 10 solos in 10 days. If you enjoyed this lesson, subscribe, hit the bell notification, like, comment, share, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, stay proggy.